Yeah.
Some things that people try to stay away from before, like butter. Now, the drive is for people to move back to butter from like artificial margarines and so some things that people knew for the longest time were like bad.
You know,
Not necessarily.
when you go in the details of food and eating healthy, your body needs everything.
Yes.
You need the protein, which comes from the meats. You need the carbs, the starches, which comes from what we call food.
You need
You need the
sugars.
carbohydrates, you need the sugars, you need everything. Your body needs everything. The problem is the quantities
Okay.
and the amount of what you eat. But you can eat anything and everything. For me, I eat everything. Anything, throw it, I will eat it. You get it. But I know what I'm eating and how I want to eat it. But also what I'm going to do with it.
Do you have an all-time favorite dish?
All time, wow. Being a chef, it's very hard. But I love fish. There's a fish, I call it fish amore. Amore in Italiano is for love, like amor in Spanish. But in ours, it's like fish with love. I first did this for, I have an American friend called Jerome Barber. The first time my creativity came into play. Then after I did it for my mom. It's our natural ngege, huh?
Okay.
With our natural vegetables, a collection of all our vegetables here. Wrap it around, and so fish is my favorite.
Fish is right up there.
Yes.
What
Even
about-
when I travel, but also because of its health benefits.
Yeah.
It's one of the highest sources of protein, and because I work out, my body requires a lot of protein, and which I can get in large amounts from fish. So fish should
Fish
be.
is one of your favorite
I should
dishes.
say yes.
Okay. I was saying, what about family? Are you passing on this passion of yours?
Yes. Now when it comes to family, my daughter, I have a few clips of my daughter Ballerina. She's 9 now.
Ballerina.
Yeah, she's called Ballerina.
Okay.
Melody. Yes. I have video clips of her cooking in the house. Making pizza, making chapati, cooking our national food. But even today, since last month? Yeah, since last month. In the house, everybody's cooking.
Oh. So
Everybody
like what?
has
Does
a
everyone
day.
have it? Oh,
Yes,
you have
so
a timetable.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a timetable as such, but everybody must cook.
Okay. So there's
If
your
you are
daughter,
not yet,
who else?
yes. If my daughter, my wife, I have some 3 guys I'm taking care of in my house,
Okay.
and then I have 3 other girls around. We're a full house.
Hey, your wife is not intimidated. She can cook at home.
Yes, she does. But you know, for us, we're not cooking for competition.
cooking
We are
for-
cooking and eating for pleasure. I tell people, eating should be eating for pleasure. Don't eat just because you have to eat. Don't eat because it's lunchtime. Don't eat because they have cooked dinner. No, eat for pleasure. Eat to enjoy. If it's going to be a ratatouille, eat just to enjoy the flavors, the texture of all these vegetables. Pleasure. So when we cook, we don't cook because it's a tradition we have to cook. No, we think about what will make everybody smile, what will make
Music
everybody
to
happy.
my ears.
Exactly. I tell people, food is like music. You see, music, it's a whole band. They're the vocalists. There's the lead vocalist, and then there are the backups. There's alto, tenor, soprano, and bass, and all that. Now, when they're singing, they have to be balanced in such a way that the bass is not too much, the alto is not too much, the soprano is not overpowering, the lead vocalist is hard, but also the backups, we hear them. Now, on top of that, we have the drums, we have the guitar, we have the keyboard, the tambourine, we have all these things going at the same time. But they're giving you some very nice, sweet tune in just one beat coming out. And you hear the vocalists, then you hear the lyrics, then you hear the drum, you hear the bass guitar, the solo, everything. So even food is like music.
Everything comes
Everything.
together for that.
We have the oil, we have the curry, we have the textures, we have the flavors, we have the starch, everything. We put it together in this one bite. But this one bite is so rich that, like you said, it's music to the ears. That when I bite, I am able to appreciate the texture of what I'm eating. I'm able to appreciate the flavor. I'm able to appreciate, if it's pepper, I can feel the pepper, but it's not overpowering. I can get the butter, it's not overpowering. I can get the freshness of the coriander. everything together. So at my house when we are cooking, it's for pleasure. Actually, it's fun. If, for example, you are not in position to cook, then you are the steward.
Okay.
So either way, you have to contribute.
Now, one of the challenges which you clearly had when you were starting out was not finding many like-minded people who understood the love for food, the passion for good food. But I think over the years, you can definitely see there's a change.
Yes.
If only about, we look at the dining culture in Uganda,
Yeah.
in Kampala, how it has changed in the last few years. And more people are really willing to experiment and try different things.
Yes. I think it's to do with our culture.
Okay.
Right now we're exposed to the Western culture. We're open to the world. You know, now they're saying the world is a global village. So we are one family in the world. But before, we were only, if you grew up in Busia, all you knew is Obusmanengeni and Bambara, and that is it. You get it? If you grew up in the West, all you knew is Shabwe and those things. But also our parents were not very exposed. All they knew is what they were taught. And all they knew is what they were exposed to, you know? So our eating culture had not developed in terms of exposure to variety, but also exposure to quality of food. Before, our eating culture was every family must have 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, regardless of what type.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. What matters is they're able to have 3 meals. That's why you can have tea with a leftover potato from last night. It's breakfast. Then lunchtime, you have potatoes because it's the season. It's potatoes and maybe greens. And supper, you're having potatoes and greens. But what matters is we're having 3 meals. That was the culture.
And you have eaten.
Yes. But now we are exposed to varieties in terms of quality, but also playing around with different foods. And before, even when we try to do variety, we would put cassava, potatoes, and posho. Same texture, same everything. You get it? But because that was the way of life.
Yeah.
But also because we used to eat from the garden. So if it's a season for potatoes, we eat potatoes. If it's a season for maize, we eat maize and beans, you know? But nowadays, we have storages, we have supermarkets, we have fridges, so we can store a lot of things. And we're exposed to variety, we're exposed to knowledge now. People have traveled, people have studied, so they appreciate more of quality.
Seeing more.
Yes, so the culture is changing and developing. So the biggest challenge then was that you find this person who, food is food.
Like, what's the big deal?
People would hire me to go and cook for them, and they're like, why do you have to do all just... I remember one time we traveled from here and we went to Kigali with a certain group of women. And that time I was in the kitchen. And this elderly lady, I really loved her. I respected her. So I'm in the kitchen. I'm doing my thing. In my time, meanwhile. It's not that I'm trying to chase time. No, it's in my time. We shall have lunch around 1, so it's around 11. I'm taking my time. This lady comes. I remember it was peas and something. And says, no, just... Now, as she's talking, she's pouring everything. Oh, my goodness. Okay, today I choose to forgive her. I'd never forgive
But
her.
then,
No. Oh my goodness! And I remember
messed you
freezing.
up.
Yes. And she just then said, "But you're still young, and you're respecting this person, so you can't react. You can't say stop." And she messed up my everything, and then I kept quiet.
you couldn't do much about
Cooked,
it.
yes. First of all, I'm already biased. So whether people enjoyed the food or not, I know they never enjoyed it. But it's because for us, food was just food. But can I submit to you, Crystal, that food is a very important factor of life, that on 3 different backgrounds, the first one should be big decisions in the world are made over dinner.
That's true.
If the president invited them for lunch or for dinner or for breakfast, you know something big is coming from there. Go and make your research. The biggest decisions that have affected the world have been made over dinner. Now, the other one, which you might relate with, the biggest and the first ever proposal to a woman's life is about food.
Can't
It's
deny
food.
that.
It's either can I take you out for lunch, for dinner, for ice cream, for tea, for coffee, for soda. It is something to do with eating. That is how big food
Because
is.
you know it will make that person happy.
Yes, because exactly. And I told you earlier, food is an expression of personality.
Yeah.
So when I choose to take you out for dinner, okay, leave alone these other people. Just know it is something. If I'm going to give my time and come to Loshatu here when they're having their brunch or whatever, and we're going to sit here for 2 hours for lunch, just know you are special in whatever aspect. So food is very important. The first ever proposal to any woman, 4 out of 5, is about food. I don't know whether women just like food or it's just the case.
Well.
But that is it. Huh? It is food.
But even the other way around, you also cook for someone that you care
Yeah, of
about.
course. And then if you go in the Bible, the biggest decisions in the Bible were made over food. Can I recite for you a few? For the Bible readers, those who read the Bible will understand this. Jesus' first ever miracle was on a wedding in Cana. And what did he do? Abraham, the father of faith, before he got a child, just to paraphrase, he had not had a child, long story short, these angels are coming on their way to Sodom and Gomorrah. They meet with him, they chat, and they're leaving. As they are going, Abraham says, guys, wait, let me get something for you. The Bible says he killed a whole cow with everything, cooked for them, and they ate. And after they ate, then they prophesied. That's where this proverb is, that the prophet prophesies after eating. It was after that that they said, why is thy Sarah thy wife? By this time next year. Long story. Food. When Jesus was preaching, when he served one of the most famous miracles of Jesus, 5,000 men and countless women, bread and fish. It's food. And the Bible says the next day, the number was more than triple of the people who came. And Jesus asked them, did you come because of the food? Oh, that's how important food is. And many, but food is a very big factor in terms of life.
Yes.
As I said, it's an expression of personality. That's why a person who loves you will take, according to their level.
Yeah.
If they can afford Sheraton, they will take you there. If they can afford, they will take you at Chicken Tonight or KFC, whatever. They will take you at their level. But the fact that they have thought of taking you there, that means you hold a certain special spot in their heart. That is why, in tradition, you never visited and they didn't give you food.
And yes, you had to eat.
You okay, sorry. You must
Yes.
at least test. At least test.
Yeah, people would be offended.
Yes, people would be offended. How? How can I host you and you don't eat?
Yes.
But also, how can you host me and you do not prepare me a meal?
We still hold that, actually.
Yeah, up to today it is still there. So food is very important, and I think Ugandans and many people out there need to come to appreciate the value of food in terms of the pleasure it brings. If you're very keen, most love expressions are related to food.
Well, we have to wrap up. Now, you've had a huge impact when it comes to basically dining food in Uganda. But there are people who are almost scared of food. They're like, I don't know how to cook, or I don't know, I don't know. What's your advice? What's your advice?
First of all, nobody knows how to cook. But we learn. We learn. And I tell people, you don't have to be a professional to be professional. To do something nice, you don't have to have gone to where I've gone. Where I got my knowledge and my experience, you cannot, you've had my story.
Because you said you're from your mom.
Yes. So you can never be with my mom.
Yeah.
But we learn along the way. If you love it, you can learn it. The best thing is, do not compare yourself to me.
Yeah.
Do not compete, because you cannot. I usually tell people, you can't be better. You will never be better than me. Though I also cannot be better than you. But
Everyone
all of us
is different. Everyone's journey is different.
So you cannot compete with Chef Henry. I have a whole 20 years of experience. I have an exposure. I've been to La Cordon Bleu, one of the best schools in the world, in France. You may never have a chance to go there, let alone just even going to France, you know? But you can learn. You have opportunities. Chef Henry is there, he's teaching something, you can learn from him. Come with a learning attitude. I get them, they come to my school and they say, me, I know how to cook, I just need a few things. And I say, if you know, then you don't need to be here.
Yeah,
I
why
only
are they
need
there?
people who do not know so they can learn.
And you are constantly learning. You never stop.
But also there are people who accuse others of not knowing how to cook. And you compare them. But I said, Chef Henry or Chef Kayondo or whoever have had their journey with food. If you want this person to give you nice food, let me say you're in a relationship, show them that you appreciate quality. And they will try their best to meet your standard. Now, in the process, they will find avenues that can help them to reach to where you want them to. So that's where they'll look for a culinary school. That's where they will talk to a chef friend of theirs. That's why they will do some reading to make sure. But also, learn to appreciate. Before you appreciate the quality, Crystal, appreciate the time, the effort that this person has put. Because it's not easy.
No.
When I do it, it looks very easy. It looks like I'm just having fun and doing this. And my wife keeps saying, I want to learn that art where someone can cook, that they're not angry, they're not sweating, and when they serve food, everybody is happy at the table.
But you also had your hard times.
Yes.
You've also had dishes where you messed up, and that's a part people don't
Even
realize.
last night, it was my turn to cook. And she kept saying the same, I just want that art. And I was telling her, at culinary school, the instructor for that left, where you can do something with pleasure and love and everything. But my point in this is, learn to appreciate the effort and the time that this person has put. That is the first one, before we go into quality. Then from there, support them.
Okay.
Support them. If it is you who doesn't know how to cook, appreciate that you do not know. Make effort to improve.
Be willing to.
Set yourself a target and say, okay, this year or this month or this time, let me learn to make just breakfasts. You may not do the complicated things that Chef Henry does, but let me do just simple breakfasts. There are books there, you can go online. The only challenge that online, you may not have the practical bit of it. You may not have someone to tell you that, no, this
There are
texture is not
million and
good.
one videos out there that you can watch if you're really determined.
But we have places around. Of course, my culinary school is there, but there are also other places, you know, that you can go and you can learn. So I tell people, not everybody knows, and everybody doesn't know, but we learn. You don't have to be a professional to be professional.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Yes, we want to get to that point where we're not frustrated and crazy people when we have to cook for a huge group of people.
But also, I know we're winding up. If, and this is one of the things that have made me excel at my school. I have different instructors.
Okay.
If you're hosting a party, you have friends coming over the weekend, maybe it's just your usual thing of catching up. Look for people in life, not only with food only, but look for people in life who are better than you at a certain thing. Give them the opportunity to express themselves that way. Do what you do best, let them do what they do best. And before you know it, all the credit, I will tell you, when I did the show, I was the host. Yes, I am a good chef, I know. But behind me, there are other people. I have the producer, I have the editor, I have the camera guys. You get it? Everybody played a part for this show to excel.
Yeah.
At my school, at the moment, it's the best in the country. But I usually tell my staff members that, please, when somebody comes and appreciates me and says I've done a good thing, please allow me to take the credit and enjoy it. But at the back of your mind, know that I'm only a reception of this, but it is us.
It is all
I have a
together.
strength. My principal knows I have a strength. But I have people who are better than me at certain things. Maybe it's food presentation, maybe it's making desserts. So what I do is I look out for people within my circles or what I do that are better than me at what I want. I give them the opportunity. I do not compete with them. Sometimes when they've just come in my life, they are competing with me. That is their perspective. But for me, I know this person is here to make me better, is here to compliment me, is here to add on what I have for the betterment of the recipient of this product.
Yes.
So even you who is learning to cook, if you're hosting people, don't break yourself. If you can't afford professionals like us, within your friends.
Your friends,
Yeah.
your family.
Like for me now, I have friends who I know if I have a function, don't talk about chapati. I have some, we call her, okay, I will not say that's very, but I know a person within my family, friend, if you have anything, chapatis are covered in that area. All I have to do is provide the things. Whether she comes late or what, chapatis are covered. So, not only with food, but even what we do. You see this show, there are many players.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is Crystal hosting Chef Henry, but there are many other players behind out there that are contributing to the quality of this show.
Yes.
That if you have not given them chance to express themselves, then it cannot be a success.
Absolutely.
And then the recipient will not get a good quality. So, open up.
So allow the people around
Yes,
you to
let other
excel.
people. Yes, let them excel. And those are things
that.
I've learned about life. I've had my school for 7 years. I've been on TV for over 10 years, and I've learned a few things in life. First of all, still just in line with what you're saying, if you know you can't cook, you don't know how to make good food. But now what I'm saying is, in even other aspects of life, learn to do something about it. That is a principle of life. If you're not comfortable with that chair, before you complain, do something about it.
And too many people are locked in the cycle of complain,
Yes.
complain.
If you do not like your friend or your partner or something, the way they're doing something, before you accuse them, do something about it. There are so many things you can do to improve the situation before you complain. I tell my staff members, before you come to my office, make sure you have tried and it has failed, but when you come with a proposition. You come with an idea. Don't come and say, you know, everything is broken, we don't know what to do.
I don't know, I can't.
Come and say, this is broken, this is not working out, but when I talk to so and so and so and so, we think this can work. Let's try this out. So it is upon me to take the final decision. But when you came, you had an idea. So principle number 1, do something about it.
Yeah.
Then the other one, there is something special about your life. You don't have to be me. You have your something. We've been on different forums, me and you,
Yes.
and we're doing different things.
Yes.
You know, and everyone is excelling in their area. So there is something about everyone. You just need to discover it and purge it. Sometimes you need the right people around you to help you out. Sometimes it's a personal delivery. You have to go out there and search yourself. Do a self-evaluation and find it and do something, you know. But there is something about everyone. You may not have had the opportunity yet. Maybe your time is not there yet. But everyone in life was created with a purpose. And what has made me excel at my level is to appreciate the fact that everyone in life has got a purpose. Maybe they are waiting for you, Crystal, to be able to express their purpose. So you have the avenue, but this person has. So number 1, do something about it. Number 2, everyone in life, everyone in your life has a special part to play towards your success.
Yeah.
Give them the avenue, support them in whichever way, don't compete with them, and before you know it, your dream will shoot high, and everybody will be saying, oh, Chef Henry, when I got the airport, when I travel, everybody. But behind Chef Henry, behind the culinary school, behind the TV show, there are many other brains that have things that, as blessed as I am, as knowledgeable as I am, as experienced as I am, things I may never have thought about.
Yeah.
What makes me probably better is I get the idea, I mold it, and put it in perspective. You have the idea, you don't know how to use it. So I support you, I use it for your good and for my good. You get my point?
Yeah.
So everyone has that. And finally, I've said this over and over again, you don't have to be a professional.
To be
To be
professional.
professional. You don't have to.
Thank you so much. Pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank you.